So Dive Bomb wants to know, do manufacturers purposely not give affordable cars sexy designs?
Sometimes it does feel like that. Like, water it down a bit so that some of the halo-ness, some of the aspiration remains. But let's be honest, like a lot of it does come down to the cost aspect of it, of just what can be done at a price point. So what are the things like we've seen with Skoda VW, the one thing that they will not compromise on, not negotiate on, is what's underneath the skin, right? That safety, stability, chassis aspects, which they are adamant we will not have at a lower bar compared to other markets and cars we make elsewhere, right? So those are things you cannot see.
No,
but
and also
that's cost that's going in.
Yeah, and I think sexy is overrated.
Okay.
Think about it like this, right? First, when you have what you call sexy, other people may not think it's sexy. That's one problem. And if you polarize people enough with a design that you think is sexy and they don't think it's sexy, but they think it's okay sexy, and the other one thinks, oh wow, it's great, you're also creating a problem where there are now 4 people in the room who don't want this product because it's not their kind of value. Right? So when you want to have a product appeal to an ever larger group of people, it has to become less and less distinct in that sense. So a manufacturer, let's call it a pyramid, where at the bottom are the products that sell the largest amount, at the top are the products that sell the least. A manufacturer has to work out how unique they want to make a product as they go down this pyramid. It has to be less and less unique and more appealing as they go to the bottom. And this is why you will find a motorcycle like a Honda Shine or a car like a Maruti Suzuki Alto very difficult to have an objection with, outside of the fact that they are relatively inexpensive, bare bones machines. But what is objectionable about these things? Not a whole hell of a lot. By the time you get to Ferrari and Lamborghini, they might have exactly the same performance, and you can't get two people to agree which is the better car. It's because your preferences are becoming more specific. The manufacturer is designing these vehicles to give you a more specific plug point for you to plug in your preferences and say, this is my kind of thing. But can you objectively say that a Ferrari owner or a Lamborghini owner, assuming they both love those two brands, are having a distinctly different experience in terms of the sense of luxury that they expected, or the sense of sportiness that they expected, or the sense of premium that they expected? Fundamentally, no, the flavors are different.
And one of the all market research always shows that one of the things that buyers look at the most is the design of a car. So if you think about it, it's in the manufacturer's interest to make the most handsome looking car they can, because that sells cars, right? Having said that, I'm going to use my W124 as an example. The first time I saw it, and the first time I was fascinated by it, was, of course, it was a Mercedes. Second, it looked fantastic. At that time, it looked like beautiful. It was just so handsome, right? But today, when I think about the car, and when I think about why I love it, and what are the moments of magic that I think about it, it's to do with none of that. It's about how I think about the suspension, how smooth that engine can feel at all different kinds of speeds. It's that gracefulness that really makes it special today. So while you might look at a car today and say that it doesn't look good, and this applied, I mean, Shumi knows this well enough. I used to hate how the Busa looked. It was a reason for me to not buy the Busa. But once I rode it, it was like, it didn't matter. So don't at least disregard a vehicle because you think it doesn't look good, because it might be really special in other ways which you've then foregone just because you said it doesn't look good enough, and it could very well change your mind.
Yeah. And to me, the baseline will always be the same thing. The more specialized a product is, the more specialized its appeal points have to become. And therefore, the fewer people will understand and gravitate towards that appeal is how it is. So the bottom of the market, where the intent is to sell a lot, it has to be a non-sexy in the sense of everybody should not have a negative reaction to it is the big deal. Most people should have a positive reaction is the big deal. So it becomes more generic.
Yeah. Put off fewest number of people.
Yeah. And put off is a big deal, okay? So the one reason why design is such a critical element of product design, especially in automobiles, because we associate status with it, is you can turn on few people with design, but you shouldn't turn off a lot of people with the design for sure.
Yeah.
right? And this is why when we're going to talk about Rapti in a future episode of Motoring First, but they are emblematic of the fact that they are a startup. They have not done this before. So their approach to design can sometimes be very fresh and very unique and unfettered by the realities of the market. And it leads them to interesting places. But it's a huge challenge for them, right? Because, for example, Ather was a startup 10 years ago, and Ather did a aesthetic, which some people liked and some people didn't, but they realized what the pros and cons of that aesthetic are. But because they're a startup, they did an aesthetic that is not common in the scooter market at that point of time. And that brought advantages which they are now enjoying, but that also brought disadvantages. People said too skinny, too narrow, and whatever it was. And people didn't buy those scooters. They never even gave Ather a chance to say, oh, what a great battery pack, what a great motor, what a nice ride. Didn't happen. You looked at it, say, too small. And that's the end of that story.
Yeah.
The updated 260 brake horsepower Skoda Octavia VRS is already sold out. So why the hell is Karthik making me do a Motoring First? If you'd like to find out, that episode just dropped on the app. It's free to watch. The app is free to download. Come check it out.